let's talk a little bit more about appliances. And I know I kind of skipped around, but I wanted to do that for a purpose. So appliances, how often do you cook? I've done kitchens for doctors that wives never cook and just use it as a showplace. And I've done kitchens for people who are like our chefs. So how often do you cook? That's really something you need to know. Are you in the kitchen? Are you gourmet cooking? Are you just making, dinner once a week? I think that's really important, and that's also important in how much money you want to spend on your kitchen. So if you're at the point where you're retired and you're traveling, maybe, you don't need to spend that much money on your kitchen, but you're at the point where you're just starting out, maybe you want to invest more into cooking if you cook. So what are the things you want in your kitchen? Like I said, you want a double oven, you want a refrigerator, you want a stove top, either top, drop in. Obviously, you want a sink. I'm doing a lot of farm sinks today. People are liking the farm sinks. The farm sinks come in stainless steel, and they also come in white. So this happens to be a copper farm sink. But it comes in, it comes in white, it's cool in the right location.
Do those come in 2 compartments?
Yes, they do. They're a little bit more expensive. Like I just did a kitchen in Venice and we did a farm sink because it was that kind of, see the copper farm sink. It was sort of that kind of look. So otherwise, I always recommend an undermount sink. Everybody knows what an undermount sink is. The reason for that is that over time, the dirt and the water gets into a sink that's a drop-in. So always an undermount sink.
Messing up the whole counter.
Yes. As a matter of fact, even an undermount sink can be replaced. Especially if you have, a little extra of the granite or whatever countertop, and you have a good fabricator. And we'll talk about contractors and things like that. Okay, so what are the other things you need? Obviously, you need a faucet. I like Growy, or I like KWC. Those are the 2 brands I like. Depending on what you're doing in the kitchen will depend on what the look is. So if you want to do, something real edgy, I'm doing a lot of these. Growy is GROHE.
And the other one was?
KWC. Or you can do, the more traditional.
Really? I've gone through that.
That's okay, that's clean.
Yeah, or you can do that. Most people, it doesn't matter. You could do chrome or you can do satin nickel. But the things I do recommend, and you might want to write this down, are I like the garbage disposal button. Everybody know what that is? So rather than have your garbage disposal switch on the wall, you can have a button by your sink. So it's really, it's really nice, and it can just be right on the.
Does it go on the counter?
Is it flush mount?
Yeah, flush mount.
Or by this faucet?
Yeah. So let's say here's your faucet, and here's your Instahot, and here's your soap dispenser. It can go right next to it, right all in a line if you like it.
Hole in the sink
Yeah. I like that. And also, I think Instahot is a great idea. If you like tea or you like, cup of soup or something like that, why should you be boiling water when you can use Instahot? Think about your needs for water filtration, whether you need that, and also think about whether you want a soap dispenser or not. All of these things need to be decided before your granite goes in so we can make sure that you have enough room. So a lot of planning, a lot of putting things together, and a lot of deciding, and a lot of putting budgets together. Okay, so who's going to cook? How often are you going to cook? Are you also going to need a warming drawer? Because sometimes if you're cooking, a warming drawer would be nice. And are we using an island sink? Do we want a sink in the island? And do we want a garbage disposal in both? And do you want to reuse your garbage disposal? If it's okay, reuse your garbage disposal. And then what about a hood? We're going to talk about lighting next. So a hood, if you have an appliance that has a downdraft, you have to make sure that you can allot for the drafting. If you need a hood or you are using a bigger hood, then you have to make sure that you have the electrical for the bigger hood. Because now you're going from smaller appliances that don't pull so much to a lot more amps that probably are going to need like a 20 amp line put in, and they're going to need, if you're going from electric to gas or from gas to electric, all of that needs to be taken into into account. And also with electrical, the older houses, all your things are used up in your box. So if you need to, you're adding a drop-in stove oven combo. You're adding a refrigerator that takes more amps. You're adding 2 dishwashers. You might have to add another electrical box. Not the best. You're better off doing a hood than a downdraft, but you have to make sure you have where to vent it, because when the inspector comes out, he wants to see that it's been vented through some exterior wall or through the roof. That's okay, but if you go to a bigger situation, you're not going to be able to use the microwave. The microwave will not provide the kind of venting that you will need. So there's some nice electric stoves that are out there and stovetops that are out there. They have glass tops, and some people like it. It's going to be much cheaper for you to buy an electric stovetop than it is to buy a gas stovetop. Radiant heat comes with electric, not with gas. But most people are converting. Gas is better, but gas is always better. Not hard to bring a gas line into your house. But gas is better because it cooks more efficiently, and you have different levels, and you can simmer, and there's all kinds of things that you can do.